Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. We are coloring this picture out of 50 Winter Miniatures by Kameliya Angelkova. Say that 3 times fast. Took me a while to pick a picture, but I really liked this one. So I wanted to demo all the stuff that I got in my haul and that I showed in my haul video on Monday. I thought it would be kind of fun to just demo all three in one picture. So I wanted to use the, if you haven't seen that video, by the way, I will put a link to the description, and you can go watch that if you're curious. Obviously, I'm going to talk about them in this video too. But what am I doing right now? So I wanted to use the iridescent paints in the background. I wanted to do like a nighttime scene with the black paint in the upper background and then some of the white and the, or whatever it's called, something pink and fairy tale blue, I think. Hang on, let me grab the box. The pink looks white unless you like put it in certain light. So I thought we could use there it is, Playful Pink and Fairy Tale Blue. What am I talking about if you haven't seen the video? I bought a 10-pack of Arteza paints. They are the acrylic iridescent colors, and I did swatch those out in Monday's video. The Playful Pink looks more white, like when you're just staring at it straight on, and then in certain lights you'll get a pink sheen, which hopefully you guys can see in this video. The other color I used down there is Fairy Tale Blue, and then for the top I used Fancy Black, which I guess the fact that it's shiny makes it fancy. I guess I don't know. I don't understand why it can't just be black. I guess we got to put a word with it. So anyway, I love Kameliya Angelkova's miniature books, but for a lot of them they don't have a frame, right? So I'm using this random colored pencil I have to create a frame. Now, I can't draw a straight line even with a ruler to save my life. It always winds up being somewhat crooked. I tried my best with this though, and I think I actually did pretty darn good. So I used the ruler and I just kind of, I drew it in pencil once and then I expanded the top and bottom of the frame a little bit just to make it a little more centered. And then I just come in with this black Sharpie, as you can see, to actually draw my frame. And you know, I didn't do too bad for this one. I figured I was going to have a big crooked line for at least one of the sides, and they wouldn't all quite match up. And they're probably not 100% straight, but it wasn't noticeable. And my plan at the end was to use washi tape. Actually, my plan while I was doing this, since you can see part of my headset right now, was I was going to talk while I did this live, but then again realized how long this picture was going to take, and so this is a voiceover. I am increasing the speed of the picture so that it's, an hour and some change. So this picture actually didn't take me very long. I think when I pulled all the clips together overall, it took me maybe just a couple hours. So it really wasn't that long of a picture. Now here I use a smaller, thinner point Sharpie to extend out the little snow hills there, or snow bumps, or whatever you want to call them. So yeah. I mentioned in Monday's video, I am very messy when it comes to paint. Very messy. You can actually see it on my hands. I did this part right after I recorded the haul video, so I still have the paint all over my hands. I figured let's just get it all out of the way. And I think the brush I'm using is actually a watercolor brush, but whatever. It was the best one I could find. So this is officially the first time I'm using paint in a coloring picture, which is surprising because not that I paint frequently, but I have a lot of paint over the years and it hasn't really been being used. it gets, I enjoy it while I'm using it, but just like it's messy, right? Like for me, I end up getting it all over myself, and um possibly have to worry about cats stomping across the picture. With watercolor stuff, it's not so bad, right? But with acrylic paint, it's one of those things don't want them messing up the picture, but I obviously don't want them getting it on their paws either. And then me having to chase them down and wipe it off, and them, with the little black paw prints all over my house. Oh man, there's a story there. I don't know if I've ever told this. I probably have. So if you've heard this before, I'm sorry. But when we first got our screened in porch built and we were staining the porch with it's like a redwood color. We had hit a certain point, and then of course we closed the paint can and everything, and left it out there to pick back up. Well, I was out sitting on the porch the next day with a friend on the phone, and I don't know how some had leaked out from I think it accidentally got knocked over. Normally, we try really hard to make sure there's no like paint laying around for the cats to get into or whatever. But at some point it got knocked over and Sidonia got into the paint. I looked down on the porch and I saw red, like almost blood red looking footprints across the porch. And I just freaked out because I was like, oh no, what is wrong with the cats? And I figured out it was Sidonia, and then I was like, what is wrong with you? Why is your paw bleeding? And then I figured out it was the stain. And so she definitely got her paws good and wiped down. It had just recently happened. So it wasn't like it had really had time to set in or dry. And hopefully that's not what's causing her health issues now. But I would think if it was going to cause a problem, it would have been a whole lot more immediate, because that was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. So, but no, it was funny afterwards. But I mean, at the time, I just completely panicked because I thought something was wrong with one of the cats. So, and then you guys saw, if you saw a picture I was working on, I think a little bit after Annie passed away, Sid actually got up on the picture and messed it up a little because I was an idiot and I forgot stuff was still drying. So here's my first go round with the black iridescent paint. And then I'm going to get a smaller brush to do some of the detail work. Now, I was pretty sloppy with this. This was, A, my first attempt, and B, I'm normally not very good at precision for anything, whether it's paint or markers or whatever. So it is a little messy. And I was planning on putting washi tape around it at the end, but ultimately, you are not going outside. Oh my goodness, y'all. So when it gets 40 degrees is kind of my limit for the window they use when they get out on the porch. And if it's below 40, I usually don't open the window. And what I'll do is like open the door, let Leroy go out. Leroy in particular. Some of the others will go out long enough to verify nothing has changed, and then they will come back in because it's too cold. Leroy does not care. I think he would stay out there if it was 15 degrees all day. He wants the window open as an option. He may not stay out there, but he can't stand having the window shut. Like I don't know. Like in the afternoon when he gets sleepy and stuff, like it's not as big a deal. And now he's crawling all over my desk and getting into all my stuff because I have the window shut. And I just let him in before I got on this call. So he got to go outside, and now he's trying to crawl up my desk, and he's not going to crawl up my desk because it is a mess. Get down. You were just outside. You could have stayed out there. Anyway, hang on. Let me go see if I can just let him back outside. Hang on a minute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I went to open the door and he just stood there and looked out, thought about it for a minute, and then come back in. And I'm like, okay, dude, you've had the option. Now I think he's chasing one. I was like, dude, yep, he is chasing Winry. I'm gonna have to let my husband take care of that. um, yeah, he's mad. He just wants the window open. He don't want to be out there. He just wants the option. And I tell you, I love Leroy to death, but boy, sometimes that cat is just a pain. A PITA indeed. Anyway, and now y'all get to see my probably unbrushed grayish hair in the picture because I keep leaning over. I knew I was doing that. I caught myself later on in the video and I'm like, I don't want people seeing that. But whatever. I'm not going to go back and change it. So, um, anyway. So I've sat here for 10 minutes talking and I haven't even done my new channel shout out yet. I have one for today. See, y'all got a color and chat on a Wednesday. Okay, so this lady is brand new, like brand new to YouTube. Just started this week posting. Found out about her on Anne from A Colorful Life has a Facebook group again. So if you go type in A Colorful Life on Facebook, you will find it. But that she has a discussion where people can, you know, post about their channels and stuff. And I saw this lady had just started and I was excited because, like I said, I love when people start YouTube channels, and I always want to encourage people and be positive. So I went to look, and she's got a welcome video and then a color and chat video. Gorgeous lady. She is super sweet. I really enjoyed her color and chat video. She talked a little bit about her family and everything. Don't have a lot of info on what kind of video she's going to do yet. I think just because she's starting out, she's trying to figure out what she wants to do. But definitely go over and say hello. The official name of the channel is Let's Color and Schmooze, and her name is Mary. So definitely go over. Like I said, just started posting this week, so we are fresh out of the gate on this one. Go over there and say hello and say welcome. Like I said, my favorite thing about the coloring community is how positive we are and encouraging. And so I want, and I've gotten a lot of love in the past. And currently, like, you guys are so supportive of me, even when I have bad, you know, when things get real bad and I just can't post. And, you know, I consider y'all kind of like a extension. I may not keep up with a lot of friends offline, but I try to keep up with you guys as best I can. And, you know, y'all are just awesome. I've made some amazing friends through my channel, and so I feel like, in a way, if I can give back and give some attention to people who are just starting out or don't have a lot of people subscribe to their channel, then I want to do that. So definitely go check out Mary. I'm putting her link down in the description. Like I said, she is brand new to YouTube, so let's show her some love and show her how awesome the community is. So yeah, I was like super excited. I was like, oh, hey, she really is. She is new to the community, like really new. See, look, Leroy just threw me off my game, and I am too lazy to go back and re-record all this. So, plus we are officially a go because I got the shout out. So just finished up the black on this. As you can see, it is pretty shiny. From what I've seen as it dries, it's shiny, which if you want a lot of shine, I think this is a good paint to use. I don't know if I would necessarily call it iridescent. I got a lot more iridescent look from it when I was coloring with the pink. I want to keep calling it white, and you'll see why. The pink and the blue paints. I feel like I got a lot more iridescent I think the black was just more shiny than anything. So, and I don't recommend sticking your fingers on there. Anyway, I not bad for a first attempt, I guess. I was a little sloppy with it, but in the end, the way I used some of the other stuff, it all worked out. So, all right, so this is the Playful Pink. The white paint is Playful Pink, and the blue, there's two blues in here. This is the Fairy Tale Blue. No, there's not two blues. This is the only one listed as blue, but there's another one that looks more blue to me. So this is the blue listed in there. So I made a oops here at the bottom. I figured I would put the really dark blue, not dark blue, but I'd put the blue down and then the white, and they would somehow magically blend together on this Amazon paper, and that is not quite what happened. So I'm trying to get the white over the blue. The blue was too dark. Like I was trying to, I figured it out eventually on the next level up to actually mix the paints together to get the color I wanted. So, because I didn't want to just use the white/pink paint. I wanted to use some of the blue to create, you know, some shadow, because especially at nighttime, snow isn't always just, especially when it's in like hills like this, it's not just white, right? Like, I mean, there's some shadows, there's some dark grays and blues and stuff. So that was what was going on in my head. I just couldn't really transfer it to the paper all that well. At least not here. I really figured it out after this section of the paper. And the result I got after that, I really loved. And I could totally see myself using that for snow and other pictures as well. And you'll see that in a minute. Let me take a drink. Y'all get to hear me slurp. So yeah, here I get the genius idea of, hey, maybe I should try mixing the paints to get the blue that I want. And that was much better. Much better. That was exactly what I was looking for, was that lighter blue. So, yeah, I guess y'all can learn right along with me, right? Which, you know, I went back over that bottom section a couple times with a white, and I feel like it lightened it up enough that it to me it looks fine in the final bit. So, but no, I had not used any of these products yet, and I am bad about buying stuff and then not using it, particularly paint. And so this time I said, you know what? Instead of waiting to do like a full, and I tell myself, oh, you're going to do a full review of all these on your channel. And it never happens. So instead of waiting on all that, I thought, let's just go ahead and do a demo with all these products on this picture. And so you guys can see right off the bat. Now down the road, I might do like a full review, and this will be part of the, results I'll show you. So if I'm so inclined in the future, but this I feel like gives everybody a really good look at how all these products do. So now, will I use paint on my pictures in the future? Yes. Once I got into the mode of it, sorry, Oreo's being very attention seeking the last few days. I don't know if you can hear him purring. He has such happy rumbles. Anyway, so yeah, I mixed that blue, and I decided with the let's just call it white paint. I mixed the blue with the white, and when I did that, like I said, on those other mounds of snow and on this bit of snow that's on the gate, I love the effect I got. Love it. I would love to use this again for more snow in pictures, particularly because I haven't really done a lot of winter pictures that involve snow. That's not like a color by number. It tells me what to use. So especially when you guys see the effect of the iridescent um, on these lighter colors, I definitely want to use them again, especially this month. Even I want to use them again. So do like the paints. I like the effects of them. If you are doing a nighttime picture, unless you want that really shiny look to the background, I could take or leave the shininess. It shiny does not translate well to video. Like when you're trying to do a video like this, um, you know, your lighting, like you can see there, it creates a reflection, and it's just really hard to sometimes see the effects unless you like pick up the book and move it back and forth and stuff. And even then, I don't feel like, especially on the bottom part, the iridescence really translates well on photo and video. Because it looks wonderful when I'm looking at it myself. Okay, so now we're going to use the watercolor pencils. These are the Studio 7124 set of watercolor pencils. They were they were under $10 on Amazon when I got them. And I thought, hey, it would be nice to try a set of pencils, like, because the only other ones that I've used in that range are the Crayola. Crayola does sell a 24 set of watercolor pencils. You kind of have to look a little bit to find them, but they're there. The 12 set's kind of easy to find, but the 24 set you got to dig a little for. And I used them, it wasn't last summer, so it had to be the summer before. I used them in a video way back when. I don't even know if I got rid of that video or not. But they actually did surprisingly well for Crayola pencils. So I was like, this is another budget-friendly watercolor pencil option. Let's try it out and see how I like them compared to the Crayolas. I do like the colors on these. They're very nice. Most of the, like your browns, there's actually 3 different browns, 3 different reds to like a, well, one's like a red orange, one's a dark red, and then you got your normal red. But you've got like 3 or 4 blues and 3 greens. Very nice, distinct colors, like if you're trying to do a blend or something like that. So I love the color choices in the pack. They even have like a peach light skin tone color as well, which is super nice. So I really like the color choices in the set. But I will say, they are harder colored pencils, and to be fair, I've been playing a lot of video games and having to do a lot of intensive computer work lately with my job, so I think my wrist is already a little tender, but I was having a lot of trouble using these pencils without my wrists or my hands hurting. I did have to press a lot harder to get some significant color off of them. So, and that really shows when I go to activate them. So the only real full-on experience I've had with watercolor pencils, other than just random stuff like the Crayolas, are the Artezas, which you've seen me use on here. And I will do 2 layers with them, because even though I like how the first layer looks, I generally go for more bold, vibrant color. I feel like I can easily do that with the Artezas because they're soft enough that doing 2 layers with that is still a whole lot, I think, even easier on my hands than just using the regular colored pencils. And their colored pencils are pretty soft, so not knocking those at all, but just overall, they're easy on my hands and wrists. We only do 1 layer with these because it was so hard to press down with 1 layer, and I just couldn't go back and do a second one. I don't know, I might later this month, but with what I did to finish the picture, I think it's fine as it stands, and you'll see that. But in terms of future use, boy, I really don't know, y'all. Maybe if they were used as a base layer, for a picture, and you'll see when I activate it, if they're used for a base layer and then like you're going over with a softer colored pencil over the top, I could see using these. These would be very good for that. And I think the color choices you have, you could build a very nice base layer and then come in with pencils or what have you. So I definitely wouldn't knock them for that. But honestly, and it's been so long since I've used the Crayolas, I can't say with certainty. But to me, these were even rougher on my hands than the Crayola watercolor pencils. And that's saying something. Because Crayola pencils, I actually gave away my regular 100 set of colored pencils just because I never used them. And they were just really hard on my hands and wrists. So, yeah, I would say out of the 3 products that I demoed in this picture and I used, the pencils were my least favorite of the 3. So, but I could still see using them. But like I said, I think I would just use them as a base build, to build up a base on a picture. And you'll see when I activate them and everything. But yeah, no, the colors were nice. They have a gray that helps when you're trying to mix colors and create colors that you don't have in the set, which is really vital for a smaller set like that. The gray and the blacks are super helpful with that to give you some darker tones. You'll see me use some of those here. The blues are nice to use as well with some of the greens to get you like that darker blue-green that you're looking for. So, decent set of, I mean, like I said, overall I think a decent set of pencils. But if you have hand or wrist problems, like I said, unless you just want to build a base and you just need a basic set of watercolor pencils, I would say you probably want some softer pencils because these are going to be tough, which I don't think is anything unusual for a budget set. So, but do I think they're better than the Crayolas? I like their color choices better than the Crayola 24 set. I like that for the color choices, I like them better. But in terms of laydown, I don't think they're any better. So, all right, so we got that. Now we're going to do the stones, and I'm just using a black, which kind of looks more like a real. Using a lighter touch, and I even tried to put a little more pressure down, you can see it looks more like a dark gray. So that was a bit of a bummer. I really had to plug in some pressure to get a true black tone. And like I said, going over this a second time probably would have helped with that. But these were just, again, I just couldn't. By then I was done. My hands and wrists were done. I also realized my hand looks really jacked up, and I apologize. Leroy can be a bit of a biter sometimes. And like when I'm removing him from my desk, I love the little furry bastard. I do. I really do. You're like, liar. I do go back over it with at least the pencil there to get that darker tone. But I do love the little furry bastard. I do, and he can be ever so sweet. But boy, when like this morning when he is in a mood, he is in a mood. And I guess that makes him definitely my cat because I'm kind of the same way. I don't bite and scratch, but anyway, sometimes when I have to pick him up, remove him from something, or anyway, he gets swipey, he gets bitey, and so y'all can see where he's gotten my hand recently. I wear many scars of a cat owner, that's for sure. So yeah, I definitely yeah, that one on my inner finger I saw the other day, I'm like, how did the heck did that even happen? And I don't remember. So anyway, sorry I don't have super pretty hands and nails, but that's just kind of how we roll around here. So I figure you're here for the picture, and so plus I think No, I don't have paint on my hands. This was yesterday, I think I was doing this part. So here I'm coming in again with just different layers. They had a dark green, a mid green, like dark green, just the word green on the mid color pencil, and then they had like a light green, which is kind of like a yellow. Um, Eventually, I figure out that I want more of like a blue green on these. I don't necessarily want a lot of the yellow green on these because I think with like poinsettia and which is what I assume these were, I don't know, or holly berries or whatever. The leaves tend to be a little bit darker, so you see me coming in actually with the blue to give that darker green a little bit of a kick. I'm getting better. With the bigger set of pencils, obviously it's a lot easier to get, the color greens that you're looking for. But when you have a small set of watercolor pencils, you have to kind of get creative. And so that's where, I guess a little bit of color theory and stuff comes in where, like if you want a blue green color, sounds really obvious. Obviously, you want to use like a dark blue with a dark green to get that color if you don't quite have it. Um, for shadows and darker colors, you can also embellish using like a gray or a black color to also get you that um, darker tone that you're looking for. So, or use like a white pencil to lighten up colors and stuff. There is not a white pencil in this pack. That is something I realized, which I like. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there are situations where you would use a white colored pencil quite a bit. So if you use a white watercolor, excuse me, if you use a white watercolor pencil a lot, you wouldn't like this pack because obviously there's no white pencil. But for me, I don't necessarily use them that much. So to me, I like the fact that they sacrifice the white pencil, which generally is like a given in any colored pencil, watercolor pencil pack you get. I like they sacrifice the white pencil to give you a different color. I think that is probably one of the reasons why you have such good color choices in this pack. They seem like they were a little more mindful of what you get. So there is a big bonus to this watercolor pencil pack that I just realized. So see, I learn this stuff as I go along with y'all. I didn't have to sharpen any of the pencils either. Where, I put down this first layer, it didn't burn through the pencil that much. I got close with the really dark brown because I had to press pretty hard to get that color. I got pretty close to having to sharpen that one, but I use a lot of brown on the owl too. So, I mean, I think these would last. Especially if you're just layering in like this, I think they would last a pretty decent amount of time. So, definitely not just like the worst thing ever, but I I was hoping for a little more with these. Like if they'd been a little softer. I love the color choices. I will definitely keep them. I think actually combining these with the Crayolas probably would be a really cool idea. And bringing them together I think would work really well. So, but I tried to use as much as I could on here. So like obviously we're going to have our reds and greens as you can see. Um, I end up using some of the blues and then like a peach and stuff up with the little lantern up there. So, and then some of the yellows and stuff. So I tried to use as much as I could of them, but ultimately I don't use all the colors in the pack. So let's see. I have been talking a lot about this picture, which is probably the reason a lot of you are here, and a lot of you are like, man, you talked a lot on, was it Sunday? You talked a lot on Sunday and we didn't even get close to unpacking everything that's been going down. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, what's going on with the cats? Sorry, hit the mic. think I'm gonna hold off on talking a lot about the cats until the next coloring chat, just because, well, as a small aside, everybody seems to be doing pretty well except Sid. And we are still having a lot of trouble with her. I do not know what the next steps are going to be. And to be honest, I'd like to put off talking about it because it is very stressful. She had a good day yesterday. Very good day. She actually was carrying around her little puff balls. I don't know why we've paused here. I don't know what. I was watching a lot of stuff while I was doing this. Oh, what? Row? What's wrong? Oh boy, that medicine kicked in, didn't it? I wonder if y'all can hear that. What? Are you saying hello? Meow. Meow. You want up my lap? This is Maggie or Magellan. Come on, you want up my lap? Well, he's going to be doing this today. Round. Come on. Well, come on. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Come here. You spoiled baby. Who apparently can't jump up here on his own. He requires me to pick him up. There. Are you happy now? Oh, Lord. Anyway. We're trying a few things. We're trying an antibiotic and a dewormer. And we're trying to see if those do anything. And she had a really good day yesterday. She has these little puff ball toys that she carries around and meows when she's feeling super playful. And she was doing that yesterday, which I had not seen her do in a long time. And she didn't want to play with laser light though. She was a lot more present yesterday, I guess. She kept sitting around wanting something, and I didn't know what she wanted. And but I don't know. She was just a lot. I think she had a really good day yesterday. Today remains to be seen. But the biggest thing is we're having a lot of trouble getting her to eat. And physically, it doesn't seem like it's impacting her all that much. She's not acting like she's sick. Not as much as you would expect. But obviously, I still need to weigh her this week, but I'm sure she has lost some more weight. So I don't know what we're gonna do. And anyway, so we're going to talk full on about all that during the next coloring chat, which will be appropriate because it is the Christmas Cats buddy color picture. And I'm hoping to start working on that today, so we can actually do it. Because that one's gonna probably. He didn't want to sit in my lap. All right, we'll go over there and hush. Anyway. So, I don't know. We get to the end of I'm still talking about them, so. Where are we at in this video? Oh my gosh. I've talked a long time, and it feels like I haven't really talked about a whole lot. Anyway, I think in the last coloring chat, I was talking about like Thanksgiving weekend, and then it turned into this is why I've been so stressed. One of the reasons I've been so stressed out. Oh, I did use a little bit of orange in the owl's eyes, which actually turns out quite nice. That was very pretty. I do not know how to color an owl, so I had to go Google that a little bit and kind of do my own interpretation. I didn't want just everything to be just browns in this picture, and I actually think the owl turned out pretty nice. So it wasn't as much like brown and black as I thought it would be in the overall picture. It actually balances out quite nicely. But hang on a second. So yeah. I was trying to think. So yeah, didn't go to the parents' house on Thanksgiving, as I mentioned. And they delivered Thanksgiving dinner, which was super awesome. I was still struggling with my fibro, and where I'd had previous things occur the Friday before. I was still in kind of recovery mode. Um, and you know, I just shorted, it didn't short out over the weekend, but I just went super chill. Like, I had a 4-day weekend. We put a puzzle together on Friday. Let's see. Thursday we put a puzzle together. Actually put together this little Lego turkey that I had gotten. This group I support, they did. It's a feline rescue out of Alabama, and you're like, why Alabama? You're not in Alabama. Um, a friend of mine years ago, I had a blog, and I still have the domain. It's whencatsAttack.com. There's like nothing there right now. But I still have the domain name because I just, for nostalgic reasons, I have trouble letting go of it. But I had a blog many, many moons ago, about 2003, I think. And during that, I met other people that ran blogs. And I became friends with this lady out of Alabama named Robin. And I may actually put a link to her blog down in the description. It's called Love and Hisses. And she's like me. She had a lot of permanent residents, as she calls them. But she also got into fostering. And so over the years, many years, she has fostered a number of kittens. So if you love seeing kittens, like she's had pregnant cats and kittens from the time they're born. She's had kittens that have, you know, had to be combined with other litters and stuff. Highly recommend her blog. It is very cute and very nice, a very nice blog to go to and see, you know, pictures of cute cats and kittens. It's a nice break from, I guess, what's going on in the world right now. So anyway, I've become friends with her, internet friends with her, if you kind of get that meaning, over the years, and some other people. And the rescue that she works with is called Forgotten Felines Huntsville. And they do auctions a couple times a year. Actually, if you saw the pictures in a previous color and chat, I think it was a couple months ago, I got this crocheted, it's called a fancy sofa. They had raffled it off as an auction for their organization, and it was a rescue. And I actually won that raffle and got the fancy sofa. And the cats do love it. They enjoy it quite a bit. So it definitely gets lots of love in this house. But anyway, they also do auctions during the year. And they had auctioned off, it was a set, like, they had auctioned off a puzzle that I ended up getting because my husband and I love doing puzzles. We've got to put that up on the wall. And they also had a set where it was like this cute little neck wrap thing it's a cat, and you can warm it in the microwave. It's got something in it, and it's got like different scents with it. It's supposed to be relaxing, right? I ended up getting that. With the puzzle came like a little Lego turkey. That was the whole point of this. So I won those two auctions, and we had this little Lego turkey. My husband's the big Lego person, but I ended up putting this one together. Let me tell you, it's been a long time since I've messed with Legos. Even that little turkey was about my speed, you know. I do like the little minis. I gotta look. I'm sure they've got some Christmas ones as well. Anyway, so you can see, like, I used the peach here on the yellow bell. I used the black on the lantern to just give me, you know, a few more shades of color that I couldn't quite get out of a 24 set. So if you're wondering why I was using those colors, I think I'm getting ready to activate the watercolor, and then we're going to move to the paint markers. But let's see, I ended up having to go get cat medicine. I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna kind of do a live blog wrap up of my weekend. I had all these clips, and the way I looked, I just couldn't do it. All right, so I think I use an Arteza water brush pen to activate the watercolor on here. And you can kind of tell from the get-go that the colors are pretty muted. Now, I have learned that obviously is not unusual for watercolor, but, and you do see a little bit of the blended color, but more to me, it kind of just come out as one color. I didn't see a huge difference between the three colors that I used. So, again, I would recommend using these as like a base layer. And then putting pencil over it if you want more shading and more nuance. So, you can kind of tell that right off the bat. So, but again, a second layer would have given me a lot better coverage. So again, watercolor pencils are kind of going to give you that washout look because they are, you know, watercolor essentially. And a second layer like I would have done with the Artezas would have probably given me a little more of the shading that I was looking for. But again, these pencils were so hard and rough on my hands and wrists that I just wasn't in the mood to do a second layer with them. So again, in the future, I would use these as a base and then come over with pencils or something else if I wanted more detail and more shading. So that is my ultimate feeling about the pencils. So still a good base set of colors. If you're looking for a good base, small set of color variety to get that base layer that I'm talking about, I think they have probably a better color choice than like the Crayolas. But I don't think they lay down any better or anything like that. Their color choices are really what I would give the really what gives these pencils an edge to me when you're comparing to just like your 24 set of Crayolas. So, though if Crayola ever puts out a bigger set of their watercolor pencils, I am so there. So, I think the Crayolas lay down better, but the color choices with these are better. So it really is just comes down to what you need. And if you need a white watercolor pencil, then this set will not work for you. So, yeah. So yeah, I kind of just shorted out Thanksgiving weekend. I've been struggling to sleep for weeks, just ongoing stress about the cats. It was an okay weekend. Everybody kind of ate okay for the most part, except for Thursday night when Sid didn't eat again, and I had an adult temper tantrum. I mean, that's what it was. Sorry, this was slightly out of camera, out of view. I had an adult temper tantrum Thursday night. Because for one day I kind of let my guard down and had a relaxing day, and then all the stress just kind of came rushing back with that one small thing, and the guard I had put up wasn't there, and so it just, I don't know, like I just got mad. And it was interesting. It's something I need to think about. My therapist asked me, she was like, so what I do one of two things. I either get super mad and like, you know, stomp and scream, and I'm sure my neighbors love that. Stomp and scream and, like I said, pretty much throw an adult temper tantrum. My husband's used to him now. He knows. He knows I am struggling at the time, and he tries his best to help, but I mean, there's really nothing anybody can do in that situation. But I will do one of two things. I'll either get super angry and scream and throw a tantrum, and or what are you doing? And or I will just short out. Like, it's like my brain just, I get one of those blue screens of death like you would get on in the computer, on the computer, like you get a Windows blue, they call it blue screen of death, like where it just errors out and you get this creepy looking blue window with like cryptic code or whatever, and you have to restart. That's, I mean, my brain blue screens, and I just say enough's enough, and I do what I got to do to finish up for the night, and I don't care if it's 8 o'clock at night. I go in there and I lay down in bed and I read, or I just lay there and stare in space or whatever. I mean, I short out and I can't deal anymore. And often that happens after the tantrum. But sometimes I don't have the tantrum. Sometimes I just short out. And my therapist was like, "Well, what is the difference? What constitutes a tantrum and what just constitutes you, shorting out and just being done?" And that's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. I guess I need to be thinking about that more. But I know why I'm angry. I'm angry because I don't really have control over this. I can't fix it. I can't just wave a wand and it'll go away. Like, I can give Oreo and Maggie and Sid medicine to manage the issues, but they're not going away. And with Sid, no matter how hard I try, not especially lately, 9 times out of 10, I just can't get her to eat. And it's frustrating because sometimes she will just sit there and look at me. Like, she'll show up at a mealtime and she will just stare at me like she wants me to feed her. And guys, I promise I will set 5 or 6 foods down in front of her. Wet food, dry food. We go through it all. I mean, my cat food shelf looks like a small town grocery store's food shelf. I mean, they have so much variety. And I will try so hard and she won't eat, and it just feels like I'm failing her because I can't tell what she wants. I can't tell what's wrong with her. And it just I can't fix it. It's something that's out of my control. I feel like I'm failing her when we have situations like that. And that happens a lot lately, and I'm not necessarily mad at her. I might yell like I did yesterday morning, like, just what do you want? But it's not her. It's just, like I said, it's all out of my control. Like, the things that are going on with my dad and my parents and not getting to see them, and COVID is out of my control. My dad being laid off, and he has had some really good opportunities where he's went through all the way to the final round of interviews, and I don't want to get my hopes up because I mean, he's gotten so close, and then for some reason he hasn't gotten hired, and it's just like we have no control over that. And I don't feel like I have much control over anything in my life. And with my body acting up, my fibro acting up, random womanly things happening when that hasn't been a usual thing for a while. Like, I just don't feel like I'm in even control of my own body or my own mind, and it's overwhelming, and I just get so angry about it. And it's weird because, like, I used to stuff all that down, and that was how I originally wound up in therapy. So the one thing I learned, because I'm telling y'all, for months when I very first time I went to therapy, it was probably like a decade ago. She was like, "Okay, well, let's cover anger first in like what we were doing." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't get angry." Okay. And she's like, "Yeah, okay, sure." And I'm like, "No, really, I don't get angry." And I didn't, but that's because I just shoved everything down into a little box in my stomach. And I didn't feel like I could get angry because I would lose things in my life. Like, I didn't feel like I was allowed to get angry. And there's issues there, like with my ex-husband and stuff like that. We're not going to go into that today. We're not going to unpack all that. But I just didn't. And I hadn't felt like I could get angry. And this was something that was a deal before my ex-husband came along. So, never felt like I could really speak up or be angry or be upset. And it took me a long time to get comfortable with that. Now, the problem is now I'm comfortable with it. It's hard to keep my temper in check. But it's particularly bad when I feel out of control of a situation, and when it's like one thing right after the other. Like if I have a bad night when I feed them, and like nobody's eating, and I'm trying to keep Bagheera out of Sid's food, and Sid's not eating, and then Bagheera is eating too much, and it just it really feels like an impossible situation, and it just gets overwhelming. And sometimes I just get really angry because it's just comes up. Like I'm failing the cats at this. Bagheera's fat because keep I can't keep him on a diet, and then Sid's not eating because I don't have the food she wants, and I don't know what she wants, and yeah. Anyway, a little peek into what I've been feeling for a very long time. Because I mean, this goes back to when. Oh, so we're getting to the paint markers. As a quick aside, so these are the Trandpter. Trandpter. There's a D and a P together in that, and I cannot pronounce it right. So that's what all the colors kind of look like. There's 14 of them. And these are paint markers. So if you've seen the Zayar paint markers a lot that are on, or like Posca pens, a lot of them have those real extra fine tips to them. And I needed paint pens that had a little more oomph to the tip that I could cover more area with, which is what I'm using these for. And I come back and fix that yellow one off screen, by the way. I don't know if it shows in the final picture I put here, but look at the coverage on these though, and look how easy they are to use. I would just tap them. I got them primed, and then when I uncapped them, I just had to kind of tap a paper a little just to make sure they're going and they're juicy. And they covered so easily. So easily. The fine tip ones get very frustrating, even in a small area, because it feels like I have to constantly try to prime them back up. And these, I didn't have to do that at all. And you just saw how easy it was. Okay, so I'm just going to say it. These paint markers were my absolute favorite thing out of all three. I love the paint, the iridescent paint, and I will use it again, but it is messy, and it's not something I can see myself just grabbing to use in a picture like all the time. These paint markers are gonna get a special place on my desk, and y'all are gonna be seeing a lot of these. They are just, you saw how the coverage on them is amazing. They fill in spaces so easily. They're not super messy. They don't, the paint doesn't flow out too fast, but they also give just enough paint where I don't have to constantly push down on them to prime them. So I also, for snow and for like white fuzzy accents like this little hat, I love the white one. Look how well it covers. And what I went back over it a second time just because a few little areas, and I was shaking it just to make sure, because I couldn't remember if I shook it before I started using it. So I go over them maybe once more, but really on camera you can't see any of the lines, really. I just go back over them just for my own sake, but I have not been able to find a gel pen or a paint marker or Posca pen that gives me as good a coverage as these gave me from like the initial layer. Again, I go back over them because it doesn't cover it completely, but like and I could just leave them like that and it would have been fine. And I loved it. I was like, oh boy, these markers were awesome. I honestly wanted to use them to outline everything in the picture, and I had to stop myself because I was like, no, because I want to show some of the watercolor too. So we're gonna leave some of this as is. But yeah, these paint markers are staying on my desk, and they were a really good deal. I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can pop over to Amazon while I'm babbling and see. Obviously, prices change. So I'm not going to sit here and say 100% for sure it's always going to be this, but I got them for $9 US, and they're still $9 US. So I will have a link to everything um, in the description. But I'm telling y'all, these paint markers were just awesome. Loved them. Loved them. That white one will get used all the time. But y'all are going to see me using these a lot more in my pictures. I don't know. I love the effect I got with them. I decided to use them on the fence just because I didn't get the shading I wanted with the watercolor, and I liked it. It was different. I don't know, when you see it once it's done. I messed up a little with the latches, the hinges, and you'll see what I do in a minute. But I think what I did to fix it, they look good enough. So, like I said, don't go too. As I was doing the fence, I was like, I'm going to outline everything with pens, and then I was like, okay, why is my phone buzzing? Is it gonna come up on my? Oh, okay, that's not anything important. Anyway, so yes, paint markers, super exciting. Love the colors. I think I showed them right at the start of this clip. They had, they had a silver and a gold. I used the gold up on the um, holder for the lantern, and then I don't think I used the silver in here. I also end up using the gold on the hinges eventually to cover up an oopsie. The black markers, the black acrylic paint markers, very nice. I like that. The white markers, fantastic. Love it. Love it. This is what I was looking for. Like I said, I have struggled finding a good coverage acrylic paint marker. Particularly a white one is what I tend to use more than anything in pictures, like for like little dots for stars and accents and stuff like that. And the white acrylic marker on here was paint marker was just bomb. I mean, it all is. Great price. I just highly recommend these if you're looking for this. The color variety was nice. Where did the sheet go? If you didn't fully see it there, we got a couple blues, like a real light blue and then a darker, more true blue. Same thing, neon green, regular green. You got a red and yellow, gold and silver and a white. Kind of a rusty orange color. I don't use that in the lights. You've got the brown and the black. You've got a nice purple and a really nice kind of neon-y pink, which you see up there. So you see kind of the neon-y bright colors in the lights. I wanted to keep those pretty bright. And so yeah, for 14 markers, I feel like you get a really nice color variety. So yes, these made me so happy. So happy. I really think they made a huge difference in this picture. I was just going to outline these. And then I was like, well, why don't I just fill them in entirely with a black marker? And then I realized then it would look like the hinges didn't even exist. And so, but I was able to come back covered up. They're really good at covering. Really good coverage. And you will see that. Especially if you're covering up your own mistakes. Oh, man. Fun, fun, fun. Anyway, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I had my moment Thursday night. And then, I don't know, I just used the weekend to kind of short out. There was one thing I really wanted for Christmas this year, and I told my husband I wanted to try Animal Crossing. And so we got that for the Switch. And I spent my weekend doing a few things around the house, taking care of the medicine schedule for the cats, and playing Animal Crossing, and and sleeping and reading, and it was just amazing. And I felt so much better when I started back at work on Monday. And I thought last week was going to be my video week, and it didn't turn out that way because work got really busy and I had a lot of appointments. And anyway, so I'm doing better. I felt well enough to get creative with this picture. So I am doing better, but it's still all just kind of lingering there. I've not figured out how to deal with it yet. I've went back to sleeping better, but I'm sleeping a lot. Again, it's pretty much the modes I'm in. I either sleep a lot or I don't sleep much at all, and it's just garbage sleep. And so now I'm in the sleep a lot mode. Um, so yeah, I decided where all these little black dots were, I was just going to come in and dab with the white marker, and I like the effect. So I think at this point, oh yeah, well, where I had to fix the hinge, and I don't know, you may end up having to see that at the end, but I do a little more after this, but for the most part, I had to make myself stop and be like, okay, this is enough with the paint markers. you want to showcase everything, so you can't cover everything in paint markers, not at least for this picture. So, but I had a lot of fun. It was just some different stuff to use in a picture, and it was fun playing around with it. Like I said, the paint I definitely want to use. One thing I did learn, and I don't know if I come back with it in this clip or not. I did try to use some of the watercolor pencils to create some on the black paint to create like some light. So around the lantern, I use like the yellow watercolor pencil to try to shade in some glow from the light, and I try to do that with the lights on the string as well. Oh, okay. Um, it's heard a weird noise. It was Amazon Prime Man. Which y'all probably aren't shocked about at all. Uh, hey, I think I can do my Flip Through Friday video. I think I just got my last book I needed for that. Um, so here I am putting in some little white stars just because I got to. It just, just because I got to in my brain. Um, and look, they're just so nice. It's just so nice. Now, if you want to create a look with like big stars and little stars, then you know this would be a great place to use like the fine point and then use this bigger tip paint marker. So I might do that eventually too. I carry it on down in a minute because I'm just like, why not? So I try to create a glow around the lights with the watercolor pencils. Now the watercolor pencils aren't super coverage, like you got to use a lot of heavy pressure on them to begin with. So there's that. I also think with the type of paint that because of the iridescent look to the paint that I struggled a little bit with actually getting any sort of glow to show up on the paper. Oh, here I am with my genius idea to paint that entire hinge black and then realize my error at the end, so I have to give it time to dry. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, the glows didn't work so well with the pencils. It could be the type of pencil, but it may also be the fact that it's an iridescent paint. And so here I come in, I was like, okay, the black obviously doesn't work. I let it dry, then I went over it with the gold, and that worked. And look how well the gold is covering that black paint. These give great coverage, great coverage. If I can go over a layer of the black paint with them, and once it dries, obviously, and they cover that well, like, oh man, these are just these are cash money, y'all. I love it. Um, anyway, I'm not very successful at creating the glow, as you can see. Again, I probably would want to use regular colored pencils for this. And I probably would get better coverage, but I also, again, think it's just the iridescence of the paint might be causing a little bit of an issue. If I were to do this picture again, I would probably just use a regular acrylic black paint for the background on the top, because I didn't really get as much iridescent from it as I just got shiny, which looks great in the final product, but isn't something that really adds to the picture. It looks okay and it looks nice. It doesn't take away from it, but I don't think it adds anything to it. So, yeah, in the future I would just use regular black acrylic paint for the nighttime sky. And then, like I said, use a regular colored pencil for this because you can see it a little bit, but it's just not what I wanted. So, I tried. I tried. I gave it my best. Again, these pencils just aren't with regular pressure, these pencils just are not going to give you the color boost you're looking for. So, oh my gosh, I think we are about done. And man, I don't feel like anyway, so I'm doing better right now than I had been leading up to Thanksgiving weekend. The last week was really stressful and rough. I don't feel like it has completely sapped me of of my will to live. So anyway, yeah. So I come in with this, and that works out. And see here, I wanted to just like add to I wanted to put paint on the poinsettias and stuff, and then I was like, no, 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 we're done. We're done. We're done. I'm not going to touch this picture anymore. And isn't it cute? I tell you, I love that owl. There's the shiny. Now look down there. That's why they call that color pink. Because you could see the shimmer of it really is pink. And it's so pretty. It's so pretty just in natural light. But it's a white paint and it just looks pink. The pink and the blue just did beautifully as an iridescent. So here I am trying to figure out a way. Okay, so here's the finished picture. I did do a few things, as you can tell. Actually I come in with the yellow and make that bulb match everything else. I guess you guys can see that on Instagram and on the Facebook page because I didn't post it here. I added little white accents to the lights. I think that was the only thing I did different here. Yeah, that was it. So, yeah, final thoughts on this. The paint was really cool. The black covered very well. Once I figured out how to mix the blue and the white, I think they make a really pretty mix for like snow shading, as you can tell. And I did like the paints a lot. I'm glad I got them. I will definitely be using them again. I'm hoping I can get myself to use them this month. It's paint. It can be a bit messy. It did fine on Amazon paper. As you can see, I didn't have any problems with it on Amazon paper. So don't let the paper stop you on using that. The watercolor pencils, the Studio 71, love the color variety, as I said. Not thrilled with, this was one layer of the pencils on the fence, on the wreath, on the owl, and on the lantern. And that was one layer of pencils. I tried to use different colors, different tones to get a blend. And it didn't really give me different colors when they got activated. It just kind of all washed into one color. So I would recommend this about, under $10 pack of pencils. If you don't need a white colored pencil, I think these are great color choices to create like a base if you want to add some shading on top with regular pencil. I didn't do a second layer on these because they are pencils you have to put a lot of pressure on. And if you have hand and wrist issues, they were giving me a lot of trouble, so I just wanted to do one layer. And this is what they looked like with one layer. And again, I use like a dark, a medium, and light red on like the hat and the poinsettias, but you can't really see it with the one layer. You probably could with 2, but I would just, if I use these in the future, I'm going to just create 1 layer with them as a wash and then go back over them with pencils. So I think they're definitely useful, and I'm going to keep them. And I think they're a nice complement to like your 24-pack of Crayola watercolor pencils. Their colors are great, but if you need a white watercolor pencil, they don't have it in the pack, which is I don't mind, but others might. They were my least favorite of the 3. And then finally, the paint markers. Amazing. Love them. Use them for the lights. The the thing that's holding the lantern, whatever that's called. Outline the fence in them. Used them for outlining the edges of the snow to cover up that black line art. And then, you know, used them like dabbing onto the snow for shading and for the hat. And just love them. The coverage was awesome. Even with just 1 layer of the paint, they gave great coverage. Oh, the hinges, for some reason I used the black marker on them, then I went back over them with the gold, and as you can see, they covered great. Didn't have any issues with them. Those were like a $10 pack of acrylic markers with like not a super fine tip. It's more of a fuller tip so that you can fill in more with them. And I think they're worth every penny. They're going to sit on my desk. Those are my favorite of the 3. I will be using those way more in the future. The only problem with the paint was it's messy and it takes time. The paint markers are super easy and convenient to use, so I will be using those more than I think anything else in this picture. But the picture turned out super cute. I'm glad I was able to frame it. I feel like it was mostly straight. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys liked me actually using some products I bought for once. And hopefully this gives you a good idea of what each of the products can do as well. So if you're looking for something for a gift for yourself or for somebody else, I think all these are great. The iridescent paints are currently out of stock on Arteza site and Amazon site, but definitely keep checking. Hopefully those will pop back into stock soon. But hope you guys enjoyed. We will have a flip through Friday of all new purchases. Non-Christmas books, but they're all new purchases. And then we will go to the Buddy Color and chat hopefully on Sunday. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and I will see you on Friday. Bye for now.